Let's talk about what higher education in America really is. A racket that sells you a very expensive ticket to the upper middle class.
Hello and welcome to The Ordeal. So I'm going to do something a little bit different with this video. This isn't going to be so much about wokeness, but I think that I'm kind of in an interesting position to discuss what Bill Maher is talking about in this segment. If you don't know who Bill Maher is, maybe you're watching in a foreign country. He is a late night talk show or nightly talk show host. I don't watch his show, so I can't really say much about him. He's a comedian. He got a talk show. He interviews people, talks about news, politics, and the social state of the United States and other places around the world. I teach college classes to make a living. I have student loans as well. So we're kind of in a situation here where he's going to be talking about that subject matter, and I'm kind of on both sides of the fence with it. I'm sitting right in the middle going, okay, I have student loans, but I also need a job and enjoy my job. Is college a racket to get to the upper middle class? No, not really. It can lead to that. It can, of course, lead you to the upper middle class, but I'm not upper middle class. I went to college, and I know a lot of people who are even worse off than I am who went to college. A lot of people who get worthless degrees or who just can't make their way through life, even though they have that degree. So it's not a ticket to the upper middle class. Is it a racket? Yeah, it's become that over the years. It's really sad to me how my hands are tied with a lot of this stuff that I have to do at work. It's just ridiculous. So let's see what else he has to say in the rest of this segment.
President Biden's American Families Plan asks the taxpayers to pony up hundreds of billions so that everyone can go to college, and billions more for subsidized childcare so our kids can go to school while we go to school. The theory...
Well, I mean, student loans have been around, and student aid has been around for a long time. I don't think that we should be providing childcare for students to go to college. You got to be responsible. I understand there's going to be older people going to college who might have children who are married, and all that stuff, but you got to be responsible for your kids, whether or not you have a job or you have school or whatever.
The theory being that all this education trickles down and eventually gets to Florida. Now, the right is calling Biden's plan social engineering, which is over the top, but Biden's plan is an endorsement of a particular idea, that the more time humans spend in classrooms staring at blackboards, the better. Liberals see more school the way Republicans see tax cuts, as the answer to everything.
Well, I would call myself a liberal, and Bill Maher is a liberal too, but formal education is not necessarily the answer. Formal education can be helpful. I tell people, if you're going to go to college in today's market, only go if you have to go to get a degree, and only borrow the amount of money that you can pay back by working at Starbucks, because you never know if you're going to get a job with your degree. A lot of people out there have made millions of dollars, even though they're high school dropouts, college dropouts, didn't go to college. You can go into the military instead and just become a career military and don't do college. I know a guy, he was doing community college, and he just is like, you know what? I did this. I don't know if I want to continue in college. I'm just going to join the military and see what happens. And so he's doing fine now financially. That's one path you can take. You could join the military at 18 and just career military, then retire, and you have that pension for the rest of your life, and you can work on doing whatever it is you want to do on the side, or figure out what path you want to take without going to school.
We imagine going to college is the way to fight income inequality, but actually it does the reverse. If you have a bachelor's degree, you make about 65% more than someone who doesn't. And with a
that is fighting income inequality. The way to raise your level of income is to get a degree. I don't see how that's difficult to understand. Maybe I'm missing something here. Put it in the comments. Hey, if I'm missing something, if I don't understand this, it's like, hey, I don't make as much money as a guy with a degree. Well, I'm going to go get a degree so that we're equal. That seems to make sense to me.
Master's degree, it's more like 100% more. And the unemployment rate of college grads is about half what it is for high school grads. I know free college is a left-wing thing, but is it really liberal for someone who doesn't go to college and makes less money to pay for people who do go and make more? I'm asking.
Well, that's not exactly accurate. The poor pay less taxes than the rich. Everybody would be paying for college with their taxes. And in fact, in many cases, the poor pay no taxes. Taxation should be a privilege that is visited upon the wealthy. I really think that's the way it should be. But we don't have that in us anymore as Americans. That used to be the way it was. People would look forward to be like, yes, I have so much money now, I can pay taxes. People wanted to have that achievement. But nowadays we don't have that mindset. We need to bring that back somehow.
Especially since colleges have turned into giant luxury daycare centers with overpaid babysitters anxious to indulge every student whim. The University of Missouri has a river grotto inspired by the Playboy Mansion. Texas Tech has one of the largest water parks in the country that includes a 25-person hot tub, tanning deck, water slide, and a lazy river.
Yeah, this is disgusting. It is immoral, and it is non-conducive to learning. I know why the schools are doing this, though. They're trying to be competitive. And to be competitive, you have to do these things. You have these amenities added into the school. You know, if a school is just a building and you go there and you learn stuff, that's what it should be. Forget all this, I'm going to party it up in college stuff. It's ridiculous. What students want today, what I have to deal with my students, some of them are great, but there's a lot of them that are just not.
A third of students now spend less than 5 hours a week studying, and when they do, it's for their onerous magnum cum bullshit course load of sports marketing, history through Twitter, advanced racist spotting, intro to microaggressions, and you owe me an apology 101. Why is China kicking our ass? Because in 2019, we issued more undergrad degrees in visual and performing arts than in computer and information science or math.
Are you allowed to say that, Bill? I mean, it's probably true, and it is frightening, but you're a performing artist. That's what you're doing right now. Don't know that you can really be the one to point that out. At least not without at the same time pointing your finger at yourself and saying, yeah, I'm guilty of that too.
Say what you want about Lori Loughlin. At least she understood that one good scam deserves another. And in the immortal words of her daughter, Olivia Jade, I don't know how much school I'm going to attend, but I do want the experience of, like, game days and partying.
That's like the #1 complaint I get now that we're on lockdown. The students are like, I can't want to go back to campus, man. I want to experience game night. I want to experience all this other stuff, the campus life. And why? What? You have it made. You roll out of bed a half hour before class and you're ready to go. And then you're done and you can go back to bed if you want to. Why do you want to be out doing all this stuff? I don't get it. But then, you know, I'm kind of a loner like that.
Yeah, I'm not paying for that.
Right, exactly. So if we're going to have a universal college paid for, you know, everybody gets to go to college for free on a tax dollar dime, no partying, no game nights, none of that stuff. It is simply you go to school, you study, and then you get a degree, you get your education.
In 1960, colleges awarded A's to 15% of the students. Well, now it's 45%. And it's not because they got smarter. It's because of Adderall. No. Yeah, kind of. But also, colleges are businesses selling a consumer product for hundreds of thousands of dollars, and they want to give the customers what they want, a magical piece of paper called a diploma. But that's only the beginning of the scam. A wannabe librarian.
All right, so yeah, this is what I agree with right here, especially is I see this in my classes all the time. They're always complaining that I'm graded too harshly. And I'm like, I am amazingly easy compared to how it was when I was in college. The college also wants me to pass the students because they're running a business and they want to keep their customers happy. And so this is a problem with wokeness right here. We get into the wokeness because these students, they think that they deserve to have the world just handed to them on a silver platter. And whatever they do is golden, is perfect. They're amazing. They're the best. And they come to my class and they are horrendously bad. And so they fail. And then they get mad at me for failing. And then they go complain. They make up complaints. And then I'm in trouble because these students don't know what they're doing. Some of my students are great. Don't get me wrong. Like I said, some of my students are great, and they apply themselves. They try hard. They're invested in the subject matter. But most of them, they don't even care. I don't know, why are they even in school? I don't get it. They're in school, but they don't even care about the subject matter. They don't care about understanding the subject matter. They don't care about getting good grades. Doesn't make sense to me.
Needs a master's degree just to get an entry-level job filing books. You know, I've heard this from so many nurses and teachers and administrators rolling their eyes when relating how they needed to take some bullshit course in order to advance in their field, when really they already learned what they need by working the job. But
Yeah, it's true. Continuing education for your career path is another thing that happens, and it's like, I understand in medicine maybe, not because so much that you need to learn more, but you do need to have that certification. That just adds to that public perception that you're going to somebody who's going to treat you well, and you'll be safe with them, and since they are dealing with your life.
But in the grift that is our higher education, when you want to move up, hold on there, not so fast, toll booth ahead. You need to pay for more education before we decide if you can do what you do. This is what Scientology does. Makes you keep taking courses to move up to the bridge of total freedom. In the Middle Ages, the Catholic Church famously sold indulgences, which were just tickets to heaven that you could buy. Well, now another priesthood of academia sells a different ticket to heaven. And because it's so necessary, colleges can charge whatever they want. Since 1985, the average cost of college has risen 500%. What other business? It doubles every 9 years. Every year it increases at 4 times the rate of inflation. And yet no one knows how to change a tire. The answer isn't to make college free. The answer is to make it more unnecessary.
That's probably the correct answer. There are just too many educated people out there who don't know anything practical.
Which it is for most jobs. So that the 2/3 of Americans who either can't afford to or just don't want to go don't feel shut out. Because the system we have sets up this winner-loser dynamic and breeds resentment that working hard has less value than sitting around in this thing. And that in turn feeds into our widening political division. Or, as one recent politician put it,
I love the poorly educated.
Like I said, he's a liberal, so he's anti-Trump. My situation, I got into college right before they started talking about how college debt was just outrageous and a scam. Right before they started talking about that. So I had a bunch of student loans thinking, because I had been told my whole life, hey, borrow this money. It's okay if you have to, because you're going to get a good job when you get out and you'll be able to pay it back. And I was young. I wasn't that young, but I was naive. That was my problem. And so I feel like I was scammed because I was told my whole life, go to college. You have to go to college to succeed in life, and you're going to have to borrow money to do it, but that's okay. And then right about the time I'm graduating, right after I graduate, they start talking about how, oh yeah, student debt, it's like ridiculous. You shouldn't be borrowing any money to go to college because it's just something that you can't get out of. But then I'm over there teaching college, and I'm like, yeah, I don't think you should be going to college, especially to get a degree in what I do, because you can just learn all that stuff now on the internet easily for less money than what you're spending to go to college. I know some people need that. They need that guidance from an instructor. But yeah, I mean, college is largely a scam. A lot of the stuff that you're studying there is ridiculous. Underwater basket weaving, of course. There's like, I don't know, I think 20 million people in America have a degree in underwater basket weaving, something like that. It's just degrees in like feminazi, SJW, like he was saying. You have these classes on, you need to apologize to me, all that stuff. It's ridiculous classes that make no sense, to just want to divide the population. I'm teaching something that's practical, that's a useful skill. If you can get a job with it, then it's a practical skill for a career, but it's not going to be like a day-to-day job or day-to-day skill where you can just go, like you said, changing a tire. I don't teach how to do that sort of thing. I'm in STEM. I'm like teaching computer animation. That's kind of at least closely related, if not in that field. But still, it's a really competitive field. Everything is really competitive now. There's so many more people who want to make money, who need to make money in this country, and it's becoming harder and harder to keep everybody in the economy. And what are we doing? We are opening the borders and just letting people flood in. Thank you, Biden. Which is just outrageous behavior. Why would you ever do that? Why would you ever say that, this country is not good enough, we need to let other people come here? That doesn't make any sense. But anyway, I digress. This is all just part and parcel of the failing of the United States of America that is happening. We need to get back to the way it was when I was a kid, when people went to work and worked hard and they could earn enough money to raise an entire family by themselves. So that's all I got for this time. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, and I will see you all next time.